Good morning, Fargo. My name is Tony Gehrig, Fargo City Commissioner. This is your recap for the May 18th, 2018 Fargo City Commission meeting. There are a few items on the agenda I'd like to talk about, so I'll get right to it. The first thing that was on the consent agenda was to change in ordinance. I spoke about this issue on the last video, so go look at the video prior to this one if you want to hear more. But it was basically a license just for the Downtown Community Partnership to be able to get a liquor license to have events outdoors, to drink outdoors in downtown Fargo. The reason I voted no was because it's just for downtown. It should be for the entire city of Fargo. We need to stop carving out exemptions for downtown where other parts of the city cannot capitalize. So I support it in theory. Bad law. Should be for the entire city of Fargo. Speaking of liquor laws, the next two items will be pertaining to that as well. An FA license is a restaurant license. So if you go to whatever, Applebee's or some of your favorite restaurant downtown, it gives them the ability to serve alcohol inside of a restaurant. So you have to have 50% at a minimum food sales, and then the rest can be alcohol or whatever else you're selling. Beer, for example, or wine. This license is relatively expensive, and currently it's not capped. That is to say, we can have 1 billion restaurants in the city of Fargo that have this license, and the city does not regulate how many of those licenses are out there. Additionally, they're also transferable, which means that if I went and I bought, let's just say, Tailgaters, and they have a restaurant license, then I could buy their license and their bar in one sale, and the city would not take part in that, other than to just say, yep, Tony's a good guy, and he's able to have a license. That's not necessarily a good thing in my opinion. What people are doing is they're using that license as a commodity. And a commodity would be something that you buy and sell, and the price is just based on whatever people will pay for it, keeping the government out of that loop. With a license that is uncapped, when someone is done with that license, or when they sell their business, or when they do something else, they need to return that license back to the city of Fargo, and the city of Fargo can then issue another license to someone who wants the FA license as we see fit, and as we do that. That's the regulatory part of the Liquor Control Board. If we're able to let people sell them on their own, they're making money off of that. They're cutting out the middleman, which is us, the city of Fargo, and they're using a license as basically currency. That's not what licenses are. That creates a black market, where licenses are more valuable than we actually issue them for, and they can be used as chips in the game of the free market. So we have created our own kind of currency. We've created a black market for that currency, and it's unnecessary because these licenses are not capped. Anyone could come in and try to buy one, and there are unlimited amounts of them. So it's a bad idea to have an FA license, a restaurant license, that is uncapped. And as you can see in our agendas, they're being used as a currency, which is not a good thing. That's not what these licenses are for, and it creates a black market, which is unfair to most people. Our license structure in the city of Fargo for liquor is absurd. Okay, there's 35 different licenses. They're all different weird cutouts and carve-outs. If you want to have a wine bar versus a wine restaurant, there's a different license for that. If you want to have beer in a theater, there's a different license for that, but you can't have it in a movie theater. If you want to drink outside, we just create a license for just you to have it just in your licenses for your specific area and part of town. It's absurd. It's complex, and it's expensive. And really no one understands it. At least not very many people understand it. I have said that we can do a better way. Oh, by the way, we try to cap some licenses. We don't cap other licenses. We're competing with Moorhead and West Fargo and all these other small communities around us. West Fargo doesn't cap any of their licenses, and their licenses are much cheaper. So we're actually losing business. There are businesses that crop up on 45th and or veterans, I should say, that's just across the border from Fargo, and they're paying a quarter of what it costs to operate in Fargo. And their licenses are uncapped, so they can easily get a license. There's a better way out there. I proposed a better way, but that was rejected. And I've also asked that we have a consultant. So on the agenda for this meeting, I asked that we hire a consultant, come in and say, look, here's the good things you're doing with your license structure. Here are the silly things that you're doing with your license structure. And here's a couple options you can do to make it better. That was rejected. I made that motion, and it didn't even get a second for discussion. That's unfortunate, because we've heard from people in downtown Fargo, we've heard from people in South Fargo, we've heard from people all over the city say either there's too much drinking going on in downtown, or hey, I'm trying to get a license in South Fargo and I can't get one because you capped it. We had a cap on just beer bars. If you want to have a bar that just served beer, there were only 2 of those licenses available. The same person owned both of them, and they were both in downtown Fargo. They were about 10 feet away from each other. That's absurd. So I asked that it be uncapped, and you saw bars that just served beer crop up all over the city of Fargo because there was a demand for it. The government is not in the business of setting the demand, setting the market. Okay, that's what capping licenses does, and that's what making commodity out of these licenses does. It's a bad idea. So the consultant idea was shoved off, and now we will continue on with our muddled system, but I will continue to try to make it better. I do sit on the Liquor Control Board, so I do have some say in the matter. Special assessments, the big one here. I'll try to be quick with this. Tony Gehrig put on the agenda that we should go back to the old way of doing things, 70-30 versus 50-50. We did 50-50 just starting in 2018. People noticed that their bills were much higher, so Tony Gehrig suggested we go back to the 70-30 model with some different changes in there, and that was proposed to be the fix. Obviously, people know my position. That, in my opinion, is not a fix. That is a Band-Aid, and we need to work towards ending special assessments completely. And if you want to know more about this plan, it's been in the news a lot lately. But ultimately, we're using a half-cent sales tax to prop up our utilities. Our utilities are underfunded. So what you do is fund utilities to the proper rate, which is to say the rates need to equal how much it costs to run the utilities, which means on average a $35 increase for your utility bill. Then we use the half-cent sales tax we're using to prop up the utilities, and we can use that to fund our infrastructure. If we use that half-cent sales tax to fund infrastructure, there would be no need for special assessments, and there you go. We've ended the special assessments altogether. No more of this getting a $20,000 bill in the mail. No more wondering if you're going to be taxed out of your home. That was my plan that was set forth, and it's been in the news a lot lately. But if you want to learn more, please contact me, email me, Facebook or Twitter, and please keep watching how your commissioners are spending your tax dollars. Thank you.